Okay, so Sanako, you have the floor.
Yes. Is it sharing? Finally?
Yes.
Okay. So, hi, I'm Sanako Saito, and my topic for senior capstone is bilingual designer in Hawaii. I'm born and raised in Japan and moved here in 2012 due to family circumstances. Graduated from Kalani High School in 2015. Finished Kapiolani Community College New Media Arts major, interface design in fall 2019. And right now I'm designing a media concentration. I am currently international student visa holder, so the circumstance is a little bit different from other creative media students. Once I finish college, I can work legally for a year to find a job and company who can give working visa to stay here. And for that, I selected practicum for senior capstone. Right now, because of COVID-19, it looks harder to do internship outside of school, and maybe that's why other classmates decided to do project, not practicum. However, I'm going to take senior capstone class in spring 2022. So I am hoping by then everything is better than now, and there will be more choice to do. So right before I decided the project topic, I changed the way of thinking. I have heard of some Japanese international students who are screwed up because of Japanese companies and not be able to get working visa. So I thought it was better to stay, or it is better to stay away from, or I mean, it was better to stay away from international companies. However, I realized I should fully use Japanese language skill and be more unique designer and started focusing more on Japanese bilingual design companies. So my question is how bilingualism helps society in Hawaii and what are bilingual design companies looking for? And to find out the answer, it is necessary to gain better knowledge about bilingualism and bilingual designers and companies in Hawaii. So I did research about the benefit of having bilingual workers and designers for the company and their characteristics. How high is the demand of bilingual workers in Hawaii? Which design company is bilingual or Japanese design company? And what we need to prepare before applying to Japanese company here as a bilingual designer. In order to have successful project, I want my project to have good flow, defined opinion and information, and interesting discovery for both the presenter and the audience. Bilingual workers and designers have more specialized skills that they earn through the process of learning multiple languages and will become beneficial for the companies. Based on the numerical research of immigrants and tourists in the US, there is a high demand of bilingual workers and designers. Oh, I'm sorry, wait. Yeah. So these are benefits of having bilingual workers. For retaining more customers, bilingual workers can talk in the second language with international people, so the company can provide better service. Also, people from the same country often know each other, so it monetizes word of mouth advertising. Bilingual workers can help expand to a wider global audience because they can communicate better with foreign people who speak the same language. When competitors have only English speakers, the company who has bilingual workers can stand out from their competition. And the company can save money by asking bilingual worker to do proofreading and translation instead of hiring translators. And the last two benefits affect more on coworkers than the company. Bilingual workers can provide different ideas because they have two languages and cultures. I mean, they know two languages and cultures, so they can see a particular culture from a different perspective. Also, a study found that they have less biases and have a better decision-making skills. The last one, bilingual workers can tighten up co-workers' relationship because when there are many workers who have different backgrounds, they can develop more empathetic skills for each other. And the future implication is more bilingual graduates are employed in Hawaii. So the last slide was about benefits of bilingual workers, but now I am going to talk about the characteristics of bilingual designer. In order to learn a new language, often people often have to assume the culture and the people. Through that, they earn observation and empathetic skill. And this skill is better to have for designers because the clients often don't tell everything what they are thinking. The willingness to make mistakes means they can make mistakes, learn from that, and then improve. There are many different ways to say one thing, and people always change the way they speak if other people do not understand, which is repeating trial and error. And this process is exactly revising process in design. Finally, bilingual people earn divergent thinking through the process of thinking other way to say. It is important to think many design solutions for designers, and bilingual people tend to be good at it. The future implication is more bilingual graduates from design field are employed in Hawaii. So this is the data. Is there high demand of bilingual workers? Yes, especially Asian and Japanese speaker. The US population is around 330 million people, and there are 41.9 million immigrants. So 13.6% of the population are immigrants. Compared to the data of immigrants in the US, there are about 266,000 immigrants in Hawaii when the population is around 1.4 million people. This means 19% of the population are immigrants. So Hawaii has 5.4% more immigrants. And as the graph below, 55% more Asian immigrants and 7.25% more Japanese immigrants in Hawaii proportionally. Comparing the number of tourists who came to the US and Hawaii, there are 54.5% more tourists from Asia and 41.6% more tourists from Japan proportionally. And almost half of Japanese tourists to the US visit Hawaii. However, these data are from before COVID-19 pandemic, so I'm hoping sometime soon, at least when I graduate, everything is back to close to the normal, like these data. So I found two bilingual or Japanese design companies as example and as reference for my practicum. One of the most well-known international design companies in Hawaii is Clarence Lee Design. They offer various design services like brand identities, logos, advertisements, product packaging, web and digital media to environmental design. The most international aspects is they have both an English and a Japanese website. Adding to this, they have multilingual design development support in English, Japanese, Korean, and Chinese. Some of their Japanese clients are as written on the slide, and some of them are pretty big companies. One of their work for Japanese client, Dojo Dita, which is pictures on the right side. They use some Japanese cultural ideas. For this kind of case, it is difficult to fully understand and apply the knowledge and skill properly into the design for designers who only speak English. And this is another bilingual design company in Hawaii called Midori Designs Online. Compared to Clarence Lee Design, Midori Designs Online is relatively small. In the portfolio page on the company website, there are English project and Japanese project. For example, the right top picture is their print work in Japanese for Aloha Fula Supply. They are the world's superior to traditional Polynesian dance, and one of their target customer is Japanese. Another example is the bottom picture and also print work for Athena, Boutique, and Body Care. They're a spa in Waikiki where many tourists, including Japanese, gather and stay. So Athena, Boutique, and Body Care also targeted Japanese tourists. Additionally, the Midori Designs online website says the company does English and Japanese translation services, which proves that the company is a bilingual design company. So my target audience. Those my research and experience that I'm going to go through in senior project and pre-capstone is targeting bilingual people. Because I am an English and Japanese bilingual, so I focus more on Japanese companies. So especially people who can speak Japanese in Hawaii find my project more helpful. My target audience is bilingual students, international students, and bilingual workforce. International students include people who can study abroad and foreign students who are looking for jobs in the US and Hawaii. Bilingual students are others, like people who speak different languages inside of their family and people who are raised in two different countries or cultures. There are more Asian and Japanese immigrants and tourists proportionally in Hawaii than mainland, so the demand of Asian and Japanese bilingual worker is high. Those bilingual or Japanese design companies have bilingual and Japanese designers to provide better service in foreign language for international clients because it is hard to understand and apply their knowledge and skill into design for English monolingual designers. In conclusion, bilingual design companies are looking for bilingual designers. For preparation, I researched what people prepare to apply internship or a job in both the US and Japan. People in the US have cover letter and resume ready, and Japanese people have only resume ready because Japanese resume can include cover letter contents. For production, I decided to make English and Japanese cover letter and resume and Japanese style resume. The reason why I decided to make Japanese cover letter and resume is because it is hard to find I speak Japanese from English cover letter and resume. For Japanese style resume, some people from Japan find it is more familiar and easier to understand. However, it is illegal to ask for Japanese style resume, and I'll explain about the detail later. After the research and production, there were some new discoveries for me because I do not have experience of working in Japan or using business way of Japanese language. So this is my English cover letter. And this is Japanese cover letter. The two big differences are letter format and structure of sentences. For English letter format, everything is aligned to the left. But for Japanese letter, there are recipient's information at the top left. Right aligned text are my information, which is senders. Then there is a subject in the middle, and actual contents comes after. For the structure of sentences, I asked my dad to proofread, and he said my language is perfect, but the structure sounds like English. And the way of expression is not very Japanese style. So for Japanese people who know English can notice that the sentences are based on English, and I translated pretty good. But for people who only speak Japanese, feel it is a little bit strange. Because this is not, there is no cover letter in Japan. So my focus was to show I can translate and use Japanese in business way. So I kept it as it is. And this is my English resume. And this is my Japanese resume. And I had one concern of how much I should translate. For some bilingual people, it is still easier to read English than spelling out in Japanese. For example, Kapiolani Community College in Japanese looks like the Japanese on the slide. The closest example in English is all cap. And sometimes all cap is hard to read, and the same thing is happening in here. So for the solution, I pulled out Japanese magazines in Hawaii and how they spell out, and I left it as it is, like those magazines. Another thing was reahi. When I searched the word in Japanese, it was written as reahi, and it sounded different. So I left it in English so to show the respect to Hawaiian language. This is the last delivable in Japanese style resume. People in Japan use templates for resume and they just fill out. The top left is about my personal information. The bottom of it is education. Right side top part is permit and license. And below of it is what people write in cover letter, such as self-promotion and the reason of why applying to this company. The problem of Japanese style resume is people have to write or put profile picture, gender, birthday, and marital status. And based on the anti-discrimination law, it is illegal to ask people to write Japanese style resume. However, I am fine with revealing those information, and my priority was to provide better information for the company. So I don't mind giving this resume for the company. And that's all for my presentation. Thank you for watching and listening. And do you have any question?